love, His presence, His grace, and His favour. Welcome everyone here tonight. My name is Simona McMaster, and I have the privilege of, at least in name, leading this wonderful team here to my left. Thank you very much for making the trip out tonight. We live very busy lives, and one night like this can kind of be can be any position. So thank you for making the trip out. I'm not going to say too much other than to introduce the team. This team here is fantastic. They are absolutely dedicated to your children's welfare, and particularly in their development through this time over the next year as they complete the Right Journey program. So I hope that you enjoy tonight, but most especially them as professionals and them as carers of your teenage son and daughter. I'm going to introduce the very first speaker, Mr. Grant Gavash.
Just before I get underway, I'm just wondering, there are a few people standing up the back, that if you're sitting and there's a spare chair and there's a chance for, there's a couple right down the front. That's the pleasure of turning up. And one other final thing, which I always forget to do, is make sure my mobile phone is on silent. Right, I just want to re-emphasise Simona's comment about thanking you for coming. I just want to thank you, not for our sake, but for the fact that you're showing such respect for your son and daughter by being here as a family. Such a really important moment for the Year 9 Journey program. Each of us will speak for a short length of time before we invite you to come with us to our separate classes. But before I talk a little bit about my segment, I just want to share a little bit about me. Some of you know me quite well, but many of you may not. I've been an educator for about 36 years. This is my 24th year here at Cornerstone, and I've been a Journey teacher guide for 15 years since the inception of the program. I love it. I'm also a parent. I've been a parent now of 3 teenagers. In fact, I love it so much that I can't wait for my 2-year-old daughter to grow up and be a teenager. Teenagers is in my blood, I suppose. I just love the whole process of watching them grow and develop. Before I also go on, I just want to say how such a privilege it is to work with these 7, and Simona as well, making 8 amazing educators. They make this program, and so together I think we're a pretty good team, but that's for you to decide. I'm not sure whether you consider your son or daughter nearly an adult, but they're certainly no longer a child, and that's the big problem in some aspects. They are future adults. And I suppose the whole purpose of tonight is to consider the fact that can we be intentional about the process of moving from childhood to adult? We believe so, and we believe it's certainly the family's job, I suppose, or a part of their calling, but we also believe that school can be an added help in that respect. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about future adults. And these are rhetorical questions. I don't need hands up, it's not a class. But I wonder if you can answer that question. And I'm speaking to the adults in the room. And it's probably something that we would get a multitude of answers to. For me, I suppose I can remember hopping in my car for the first time when I actually had my full licence. That certainly felt like I was an adult. Probably when I became a father for the first time, there was something significant about that moment too. But that moment is a significant moment in any person's growth and development. Another rhetorical question. I had a loving family, and they certainly expressed that love in lots of ways. I'm not sure I actually had any intentional guidance in the process. There was sort of an expectation that I would grow up and everything would work out. Now, maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but it was sort of just, oh yeah, that happens. And two final questions, or two more questions along the same theme. I had a much loved uncle who certainly took a special interest in me, but then his work took him overseas when I was sort of around about year 9 age, and right at a time when I really felt like, oh yeah, I just wished he was still around. And of those people, those adults, those guys that still remain, Mum and Dad are strong, but it's almost like I wished for something more. I could have read to you a lovely little line or a couple of lines that sort of basically bemoans adolescents and teenagers and how bad they all are, and how difficult it is. And most people think, oh yeah, that could have been written 10, 15 years ago, 20 years, it could have been any time. It was actually written in Greek times before the birth of Christ, in the time of Socrates. In other words, people have been saying that teenagers, there's something about them that we struggle with in lots of ways. And so it's an age-old issue, I suppose, to some extent. How do we best help, best guide, best show an intentional process to young people to become all that they can be? So, is it a 21st century problem? Yes and no. Have things changed? Yes and no. I think we need to not sort of lay the blame in some way, but we do have to acknowledge that things are changing. Now, even this cartoon has become a little bit old-fashioned since we started using it a few years ago. The language of adolescence is changing. The adolescence of growing up, the language of growing up is changing. And I don't know about you, but sometimes you feel out of it. Sometimes you just feel like you've missed the point a little bit, or you don't fully understand. So we have to acknowledge that the world is changing not only in language, but in so many other ways. We also have to acknowledge it's quite clearly I've touched a sore point. And we also have to acknowledge that maybe, just maybe, we're letting our young people off the hook a little bit. Not that we don't love them, but maybe we need to expect more of them. Maybe some of the development involves some hardship, some challenge, some difficulty. We can't make our child's life smooth, perfect, and just amazing the whole time. They will not grow into the people that we need them to be. And I suppose the other significant change in the world is the pervasive impact of technology. Now, I'm sure past generations have bemoaned every other form of technology. I'm sure there was some group of people bemoaning pencils or slate and chalk or whatever. But we do have a significant impact of technology in our world. And how can we best that? There's no point making it, banning it or whatever, but we need to look at that as a way of dealing with the impact of technology in our world. But also, how can we turn it into a positive? I'd like to hand over to Danny Bradley now to lead us through the next section.
Great. So yes, my name is Danielle Bradley, and I've had the pleasure of being involved in the Journey program for, this is my 11th year, and I actually had to do the math a bit earlier. It is such a fabulous program that I really wish was around when I went through high school. And I learn more about myself every single year by being involved in this program, and it's such a joy to be involved in that program with these fabulous people, but also with the girls that I get to know throughout the year. So I'm up here to talk about adolescence. Now, Graham just before talked about the concept of teenager. It's pretty easy to define when you're a teenager and when you're not, in terms of what age you are. But this concept of adolescence is actually pretty new, and it has changed over time. So originally, there wasn't adolescence. It was childhood, and then there were significant events that then meant in your society or in your culture that you'd stepped into adulthood and you had adult responsibilities. Adolescence entered a few decades ago, and if you look down the bottom here, that section of adolescence has grown. My next door neighbours have still got their 28-year-old twins living at home, and they still get mum to do their laundry. And this is common. This is more and more common, that we're not giving young people that opportunity to take on adult-like tasks and learn how to be an adult. And they can't be told. They need to practice and they need to experience. So we don't want to see adolescence extend, because people won't be successful in the world if they are forever in adolescence. There's also the concept of risk, where once young people, children, were given opportunities to practice risk assessment, risk identification, and then also how to manage risk, a lot of that has been taken away. We have tended to wrap our young people, because they are incredibly precious to us, to protect them from that. But in doing so, we're not giving them the skills to step out and be an adult and actually manage risk in the real world. So what do we know about the 21st century adolescent? They are absolutely desperate to grow up. They want to be an adult and they want to have those responsibilities. They need challenge so that they can develop the confidence to take on those responsibilities. And that requires opportunity. So we need to give them opportunity so that they can practice that. But they will react impulsively. And that is probably what will drive most of us a little bit crazy. And that's generally due to what their brain's doing at this time in their lives. Right now, I'm going to hand over to Jamie Cameron.
Well, as she used to think that I was one of the young ones over here, as far as I was concerned. I reckon I'm probably still an adolescent, because it's been 8 years on my 8th year this year. I looked at that and I thought, well, there's new ones coming through. We're learning so much from them as well, which is great. It's a privilege. My background is, I'm not from these parts, you may have picked that up. I'm from, if you go to Darwin, and then another around the world, Scotland on the top there is where I come from. And some things are different, but you know what, most things are exactly the same. I've got 4 kids, and I'm really glad my kids are so perfect. I love them to bits, and I really want to rescue them, particularly when I go to the parent-teacher meeting. I've actually got a true story, 8:30 tomorrow, so I'm going to be running a little bit late, but in this house, don't tell anyone, it's a secret, because my kids make mistakes, but that's okay, because I love them to bits, and when they make mistakes, I'll help them. And for your kids, in this adolescent phase, we have that privilege of being able to help as well. So, why do we need to be here? Well, not just tonight, but in general, with the journey. I was a smart kid. You probably worked that out from what I've said so far. I knew straight away boys and girls are different. Picked it straight away. But like a good year 9 boy, I probably didn't get past the physical. And I didn't really get into a full understanding of what it even is like to be emotionally for 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old boy. I didn't really address that. Far less the aliens that looked a bit different than us. I didn't know much about them, far less than I did about myself. So we need to challenge that and work out what the difference is, starting with who we are ourselves, boys or girls. There is a lack of guidance. I think as parents we sometimes think that our students or our kids know it all. They certainly might think that. And sometimes we need to give a bit of guidance and know that the easy road, short term, great. Long term, good luck. We have to make some harder decisions along the way. Values and meaning guide who we are. Who we are as an individual is crucial. But if we don't know what our values are, or what the meaning is, or what our purpose is, we've got a little bit of a potentially a misalignment there. Other sources of guidance may not be trustworthy. Netflix, YouTube, etc., etc. We might want to validate some of them, but this is why the journey course, that's why we're here. Agree? Secretly, I think most of us are dreaming in a similar direction. Even with our classes, which is not the whole, well, it is the whole year 9, but it's not all the things that they're doing, we look to build up the relationships first. We look to help them understand what it's like to be in a discussion group. What's your responsibility as a speaker? Well, my responsibility right now is to talk slowly, clearly, with an accent that you can all understand. And also, there's a responsibility for you guys. And that is to engage with your eyes and look and listen. Or at least pretend you're doing that. Okay, so we all have responsibilities. If we can look at those things and carry that on throughout the year, we're going to be in a better position. Beautiful if year 9 actually was strapped and we could dig into greater depth of those things. Relationships, conversations, doesn't matter, have them again and again and again and again. So when son or your daughter comes in, how was school? Good, thanks. No worries, thanks. Challenge them. What part was good? My son, who I'll be having a chat with tomorrow, he actually starts it now. Lying in bed, reading a book. So Dad, stuff there, getting home then. How was today? Oh, it's pretty good, good. Okay, now what does that mean? And so I have these two feelings, I think, oh man, really? I might have done something right as a dad. So challenge, have those conversations. I get 2 sections. Spiritual journey. What makes you you? Is it body? Is it mind? Is it something else? We will challenge our boys and our girls within our classes to think beyond self. Is there something more out there? What is God in this? Is God above us? Is He around us? Is He inside? What does it actually mean? Or what is God to each of our students as well? Is there something bigger than us? And we clearly think there is. And so we'll have those discussions on that, what it means. For us as a Christian school, it's really quite clear. But we'll challenge our students, wherever they are on their faith journey. For a number of us, sorry boys, I'm telling them a couple of stories here. When they walked into our class first time, I shook their hands. Life is hard. You're going to die. I went through these. Your life is not about you. No, it's not. You're not in control. And you know what? You're not that important. Welcome to the journey. But they're all true. 100% true. But what does it mean? What does it actually mean? We want our boys and our girls to be deliberate and intentional in what they do. There's actually a thought process that sits behind it. That includes what God means to them, but it also includes what these things mean to themselves as well. Who are you? So, go home tonight, ask your boy or girl, who are you? Oh, my name's Jamie. Not good enough! Right? Challenge them. Get deeper with those conversations. Because we'll be doing that on your behalf, but we need to support you and you need to support us with that journey in itself as well. Mr. Justin Kerber.
It feels like he needs to follow that. As if not just been a fringe show, thanks, Jane.
Is that a good thing?
That's a good thing. Hi everyone, my name's Justin Kerber. Sorry if I lose my voice tonight. It's been a big day. I have my own family. I've got 2 kids. A wife who are hopefully at home and the kids will almost be in bed, which is I'll see them tomorrow. When I first started teaching the journey a few years in, I would come along and share those things about me and say, my daughter's 2 and I've just had a newborn son. This is my 12th year teaching the journey, 13th year at Cornerstone, and I've got a 9-year-old son, Tyson, and my daughter is 11, going on 13. Lots of moans, groans, eye rolls. It started early. So I really feel like I'm a part of this parenting group now at this age group, getting there anyway. Rites of passage. It's called the Right Journey, R-I-T-E. I wonder how intentional we are in our society to provide meaningful, challenging rites of passage for our kids. Is that something that's important to us? There are some cultures, a lot of cultures, which value this so highly that they will put their kids through challenge, pain, loneliness, sadness, just because they know it's important in them becoming a good adult. This is a picture of the Maasai warriors. These boys would be 12 and 13, 14 years old. At that age, they're separated from their mother, from their family, sent out to the wilderness. Amongst other things, they're circumcised at this age. They need to hunt for themselves and survive. And only when they come back after a period of time can they be welcomed back into the tribe as adults, and they're celebrated as adults. Only when that happens can they marry, can they own land, can they own animals. It's pretty full on. We're not going to be doing some of those things. A lot of those things. But what we will do, and we've already spoken to our students already in this first couple of weeks, that we will value ceremony very, very highly this year. Today we had a ceremony, and one of the other teachers here will explain that a bit later. Tonight is another one of our ceremonies. So while we can't necessarily do some of these things, we will try to symbolically mirror what is, required to move boys and girls through an intentional process to become good adults. In Western society, we don't, or we haven't historically had good rites of passage. The scary part of this is that children crave rites of passage, crave guidance, as we've heard at this age. And so without an intentional program, an intentional way of giving them that rite of passage, they'll find their own. And the scary thing is that the rites of passage that some children seek, or adolescents seek, on the second screen, which are really high risk, really hard to manage as parents and as carers. And I could probably add on more things to the list, and so could you. Rhetorical question. I want you to think about as an adult now, what were your rites of passage as a 13, 14, 15-year-old? A bit like the question of when did you know you became an adult, I find that really hard to answer, and I'm not even an adult. Like Graham said, with his family, I've got a loving family who care for me and still care for me, and they would try to teach me right from wrong. But probably it was the things like, having my first child, maybe drinking alcohol for the first time, driving a car by myself, were the things that made me feel like I kind of made it. Looking back now I have a lot to learn, and I still do, but I have a lot to learn at those points when I thought I had it together. So this is what we're here for. Enjoy the rest of the speakers tonight in helping us engage you in what the rite of passage means. And I hand over to Ali Hodgson.
Hi everyone, I'm Ali Hodgson, and I've certainly had the pleasure of teaching the journey for many years. I haven't quite done the math, but I was one of the initial teachers that started the journey course and have been teaching it ever since. I did not teach it for only a couple of years, but that was because I was at home having and rearing my children. So that was 2 years. I have 2 children. I have a son that is now in year 8. So I'm sitting here thinking, wow, how am I going to feel next year, because he will actually be in the audience with my husband. I also have a daughter, and she's 9 going on 10. So I love little kids. I love nurturing them, and I loved rearing my small children, but I think there's something about teenagers. It's why I'm a teacher at a high school, and I certainly have a passion for young people and helping them through that journey. So if it's your daughter that is out there, I'm certainly already really enjoying getting to know them. And something that is just so special for us as teachers is to see the class start to bond together, to start to support each other through this journey. And if that doesn't happen in a class, it makes it so much harder for the individuals to grow throughout the year. So we do really, really value our relationships. I'm going to talk to you about, I guess, the main outcomes that the journey that we want to actually bring out of the journey. There's 4 of them. The first one, connection. I think this is a big word for me, connection. It can mean many things. There's lots of connections that the students will form throughout the year. Firstly, there's the connection between their classmates, and that's really starting to already show within the classes. Certainly what's happening today in the classes as stories of your lives, students of your lives that you are starting to share with your classes, that really is helping to bond the class together. There's also the connection with their teacher. There's many opportunities throughout the year to connect with themselves, and I think this is a big part. They connect physically, mentally and socially, as well as spiritually. We challenge them, and we ask them questions, like we said earlier, that we want to dig deeper. We actually push them to think deeper, to think their thoughts. How are they feeling about certain things? What are their perspectives and views on things that may be different to their best friends? And to help them to work out, their thoughts through what is happening to them at this particular time in their life. There's also the connection that we give them opportunity to connect with nature and to connect with their environment. And we certainly give them times when students will explore their beliefs and their connection with God. Communication. There's many opportunities and ways that students will communicate in their classes. They will speak, they will listen, they will write their thoughts as well. And sometimes it's those students that find it a little bit hard to speak their actual thoughts, but are given opportunities to write down in deeper meaning their thoughts. And we do journal writing throughout the year. That journal also goes on camp so that they can express their thoughts about how they were feeling throughout the camp. That's going to be talked about later. And it's a really good way of being able to really tease out thoughts and emotions. We certainly really encourage students to share their thoughts. And I guess it's building that courage to actually stand up and say, well, this is what I think. And then it may not be what the other person in the class thinks, but to actually ponder those different ideas through the very different discussions that we have about issues, about being a young adolescent today, certainly is what makes our class very vibrant and interesting. Nextly, there's the challenge. Students will be challenged in a number of ways throughout the year. Challenges may be physical, they may be social, or they may be mental. They may be individual, or they might be a class or a group challenge. We know that growth and belief in ourselves certainly comes with getting through tough challenges. And I'm sure that you as adults, moms and dads, can certainly connect with times that you've had challenges through your life, but you've come out the other end that little bit stronger and that little bit tougher. So we as Journey teachers know that the challenge that we put in place for your students, that we have built up over the years and that we present to your students, are there for a meaning, that they are there to actually make some students in different challenges feel a bit uncomfortable, to feel a bit stretched, and to have to work out how they're going to get through that challenge. But we also set up those challenges to know that every single one of you, Year 9s, are totally capable of achieving that challenge. And it's getting through the other side and how you go about doing that and the thought processes throughout that that certainly make you a stronger adolescent and growing into an adult. I always love hearing the reflections that we have after a challenge, either through discussions in a class or by hearing through typing or writing about their thoughts before the challenge started, throughout the challenge, and then after the challenge. And boy, we certainly hear and we see those faces of real self-achievement at the end of it. Lastly, I'm just going to express in terms of the outcomes, the journey principles. And that's to offer a healthy rite of passage, to develop strong relationships, to challenge students, to celebrate their growth, and to encourage resilience. Hey everyone, my name is Miss Rhoda, and this is actually my first year of teaching the Journey program. So I'm on the journey with your child. We're in this together, as scary as that may be. But I'm absolutely loving it so far. I actually attended 2 days of professional development at the end of last year for this program, and I learned so much from it, and it really reinvigorated my passion for teaching, and in particular, to have a positive impact on young people. This program certainly allows me to do that, and I've always wanted to be a part of the Journey program and this amazing Journey teaching team. Previously, I've taught Year 7 since 2014, and I've always been interested in teaching the Journey program ever since 2014. It only took me, do the maths, 6 years to get here. And I certainly look forward to the year ahead. And what will the year ahead look like in the Journey program? Well, we've actually had our first ceremony today, the calling ceremony. We went out to Mount Barker and we called the students to begin the journey with us formally. We've already started our lessons, but today was a real formalisation of that process of your child really moving from a child to a man or woman and tonight we'll have another ceremony formally within your Journey teachers class. This is the departure ceremony where we hope to receive your blessing to continue with your child on this journey. We have the following, where we will follow the Journey program. We won't only follow the program, we will allow your child to take their own path on that journey, forming their own perceptions and really developing and helping to solidify their beliefs. Mrs. Hodgson previously talked about the challenges. There are many challenges, physical challenges, emotional challenges, social and spiritual challenges. Your child might feel confident about certain areas. They might be like, yes, I've got these physical challenges, but they might struggle a little bit more with the emotional challenges or social challenges, but that's all part of it and all part of developing a strong, healthy adult. We have the Abyss, which is another challenge. It's a solo night. It is solo for a reason, so that they can learn that they're okay on their own. It's a self-reliant camp, self-reliant night. They are on their own, but it's a really great experience. Then we have the return, where we really celebrate them coming back. It's celebrating the end of the Journey program,
As most of you probably would know, my name is Caleb Bleasing. I used to be a Year 7 teacher for 4 years, and then moved up to Year 8 last year. This is my first year teaching journey full time. I was actually lucky enough to fill in for Jamie Cameron in Term 3 last year, which was a really monumental time for the college. As I was remarking to the boys when we went for our walk today, what a privilege it is for me to be here, to be on this journey with your young men and obviously with you as well. I'm going to talk to you a bit about the 4 kind of main questions which guide each term. First one that we're looking at now is who am I really? And it's about us unpacking how we got to where we are today, how our past has impacted us, what it means to actually fully understand your personality, your strengths, your weaknesses, the challenges you face in life. It's also a really good time and an opportunity for our students to build a relationship with each other. We have so many times where students sharing a particular challenge in their life, and someone will go, oh yeah, me too. It's a wonderful opportunity for our students to go, hey, I have that as well, I deal with that as well. And they might not come up in normal conversation out in the yard. So this first term is about us building that foundation for the rest of the year. And also for us as teachers to build a relationship with the students as we share parts of our own stories and our own challenges in life. In second term, we look at how do we get on with others, looking at obviously our communication, listening, and body language, helping us to make decisions and actually be critical in what we do and how we interact with each other. We look at peer pressure, body image, which is such a massive issue for young people nowadays, and obviously mental health. Last year, if you were in Year 8, we looked up the Healthy Minds program, so that's also important to us. And we continue to build on those things that we did in Year 8. In Term 3, we look at, is there something more? Which is one of the trickiest terms because we actually get them to stop and think and be quiet and experience solitude. How often do we get that in today's society where we actually can detract from the world and actually feel silence? Even today, when we're out on the farm doing our walk, we can still hear the freeway. So we encourage our students to find that quiet time in their lives to experience that stillness. Term 3 is also a fairly large term because we obviously have the Abyss, our journey camp, where we actually help them to develop some strategies to handle that solo night, so they're not going completely blind. And reflection is such a massive important part of Term 3 as well. In Term 4, we look at what is my purpose? How do I actually contribute to this life and actually be the person I want to be? How can I take that next step? How do I work out what I want to do in life? We look at mindfulness, life purpose, wellness and bliss, what it means to be happy and content with who I am, and obviously just looking into finishing off the journey as well. Hand over to Emily.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily Bartholomew and I'm also new to the Journey program this year. I've really enjoyed the start of the Journey program already. Over the last weeks I've shared my personal story with the girls and we've just begun hearing each of the other girls' stories in our class. And I think it's been a really big step for us to strengthen that connection between our class. In 2015 I attended the Journey camp as part of my final uni placement and I really fell in love with the idea of the Journey program. It provides a safe, supportive environment for your children to discover and navigate their way through adulthood. So we would really like to connect and build a partnership with you as you are a really important piece to your children's puzzle. We will update you on the progress of the Journey program and our individual classes at least once a term via generally a group email. It's really important that if your child has any fears or concerns, that these are addressed early so that we can help support your child and we as a team, parents, staff and your child can work as a team to get through these challenges. It's great to see parents support their children as they progress through this time in their lives and we would love to be updated on any positive changes that your child may be going through.
Please continue to stay in touch with your children and persist with asking them questions, especially about the Journey program. You have that conversation started now. What did you do in the Journey program today? Even if you receive those grunts and groans, keep pushing, keep trying to ask those questions. After each of the challenges that the students face, they're asked to complete a reflection, and they will be up on Caris, and we as staff also comment on the progress of your child, so you'll be able to stay updated on their challenges. And please feel free to email or call us. So thank you for coming to the information session tonight. This does close the information session, but we now ask that students direct their parents to their Journey Teachers designated classroom, where we will continue with this evening.